Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be bringing you some help with your hair. So many of you have reached out to me and said, Sharalee, I was not able to get to the salon to get my hair cut and colored before all the salons shut down. What do I do? So today I'm going to be giving you some tips, not only to help you with some styling ideas of what to do when your hair gets too long in certain sections. I will also be giving you a few tips of a few little places that you can kind of maybe trim up yourself until you can get to the salon. And then thirdly, I'm also going to be giving you some help with color, because I know many of you are like me. You've got color treated hair, you've got some gray, and you want to know what to do until you can see your stylist. I hope that this video provides some good tips for you. Right before we get into the video, if you're not already a subscriber, I hope that you will consider hitting that button below. Give this video a thumbs up. And now let's jump into my tips to help you cope with your extra long and uncolored hair. So first up, we're going to talk about what to do with the length of your hair. So I'm going to start kind of like top down, and then after that I will give you some options regarding color. So first of all, what can you do if your top is starting to really get long and overgrown? So we'll start here at the crown. Now what's going to happen here, if you've had this short and spiky, as it gets longer it's going to start curving down, and that's really okay. What I would recommend is actually using your round roller brush just here at the crown, because you're going to need a little more volume, add a little more of your catwalk root boost right here. Just give a little extra volume there, and then as you're styling it, even though it's laying down, you can still just twist the hair together just to give it a little bit of texture right there. Now, by the way, I don't have any of my finishing styling products in my hair right now. All I have in is the Catwalk Root Boost, which I put in before I blow dried my hair. So you'll see me just moving my hair all over. That's why it's not quite fixed. So, and then as we're working our way forward, so the bangs are the next part that can really start to drive you nuts if they get too long. So I have a couple tips here. Obviously, wearing your bangs up and over can help keep them out of your eyes, and you can, as you're blow drying it, blow dry it here and then curve it over. That will help. But if you're saying, nope, it's like way too long, I've got to do something, you're gonna pull out your scissors. Don't be afraid. Pull out your scissors and a good comb. And when your hair is dry, this is really important, because when your hair is wet, it kind of stretches longer. And then as it dries, it bounces back up, and that's when we get ourselves into trouble and cut off too much hair. So what I do, and yes, occasionally I have to actually trim this edge a little bit myself, and this is what I will do. So I will, with my hair dry and a good comb, I'm going to comb this out, okay? And what you want to do is kind of look at the way your hairstylist cut the edge. So typically your bangs are kind of, if you're wearing them over to the side, they're cut kind of over to the side at a slight angle. Now the second thing you want to do, once you get it over to the side, take just a tiny little bit of water on your fingertips and just wet the tips of the hair. That's going to help the hair not fly everywhere as you take out the scissors and do a little cutting. Now, you do not want to cut off an inch or so. Keep in mind that your hair, even though it feels like it's grown a lot, it really only grows a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch in a month. I know that seems crazy, but talk to your stylists, they will agree. That is the general rule, unless you have bionic hair that grows a couple inches a month. So keep that in mind. And so when you trim your bangs, you are going to only trim, do not trim more than a 1/2 an inch to start. So what I like to do typically is find about a 1/2 an inch. I'll trim it straight, and then I will take my scissors this direction and just cut into the very tips of the edge, and that keeps the bangs from being just a blunt cut. And again, I only sectioned off this very front part. I'm not really worried about this because my stylist kind of angles the cut back, and this is really the main part that's going to drive you nuts. Now, another thing that you can do through the center here of your hair is, if your bangs are really long, they're driving you nuts, they're really thick, and this actually works better on second day hair. But what I like to do sometimes is I will just take a section. So what I'm doing is just combing the hair back. I'll take like one section here, kind of twist it. You can take a second section here and twist it. And then you can either leave this section, or you can do kind of a third section, twist it back, and then you can use, let's see if we can get this little guy twisted in here. My hair isn't quite as long as probably many of yours is. Then you can use kind of just a fun little decorative clip that in. You could use, if you've got like a little barrette, you could clip that in. I have some fun little decorative bobby pins. You could put that in, and it'll keep your hair out of your eyes. You can even pull kind of the sides forward. And then if you need to touch up your color here, I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Okay, so moving on now, if you have an undercut like I do, let me pull this up here. Let's see, if you go back to my, I think, December hair tutorial into January, I was actually growing out this part underneath, so I know what that grow out is like. And what's going to happen is, as that part grows out, this section of your hair is going to get a little bit more puffy. It's okay, you can kind of fix it. As you're blow drying your hair, make sure you don't put any catwalk root boost right here or right here. You're not gonna need it. You're gonna have a little extra fluff and fullness there. Once you're done blow drying your hair, as you're fixing it with your Enjoy Dry Wax, you can use that wax to actually further flatten the sides and pull those down just a little bit. Then right here over the ears, you're probably gonna start having it touch your ear. It's gonna take probably a week or so before it will actually, or before you can really tuck it back. Or what I was doing was actually just using a little bit of wax on my finger and pushing that forward into the sideburn area. Now we're gonna get to this back section. This is where you might need some help from somebody else with this. Okay, I did this myself, and I can't even tell you how difficult it was. I pulled out the hair trimmer that I use for my husband, and I trimmed up my neck myself. It was really hard. So find somebody that you can trust with some clippers. And if you don't have clippers, you can use a razor, just kind of your straight up razor that you use to shave your legs or whatever. But that is only gonna be good for kind of shaving up your neck. So if you have an undercut pixie or you've had this shaved, you'll know you're gonna start getting growth right here. And I get that even by the end of 4 weeks. So what you can do in this extended period, however long it might be, is have somebody that you trust just shave the neck portion. Don't have them actually go into your hairline. Just have them shave up any of the growth that's on your neck. If you want to kind of re-establish a straight line across the back, what you can do is pull out some tape. I would recommend something like painter's tape. You can use Scotch tape, but this will actually give the person helping you a good visual. What you're gonna do is you're going to actually put this across the back, and then you're gonna look in the mirror and make sure it looks straight to you before anybody takes out any scissors or anything. Then once you have established kind of where you want your hair to be trimmed, the line that you want it to be trimmed to. Then you can take out your clippers, and your husband, your daughter, your friend, whoever it is you trust, can go from the bottom edge of the tape down. Funny story, my mom, when she was little, heard that you could use tape to help trim your bangs, you know, straight across. So she put her tape on and cut above the tape. Don't cut above the tape, cut below the tape. But you can use that as a guide to give a nice straight line across the back of your neck. Then as this back part is growing out, don't worry. If it has been shaved, as long as you just keep styling it and blow drying it down, it's gonna lay down. You can use a little bit of Enjoy Dry Wax or whatever your favorite pomade is to kind of help keep it down. If it gets even longer, you can have some fun back there and spike it up like I used to do. I have lots of videos on that. Now, if your hair is in the longer pixie cut style that I used to have, I have a couple of hair tutorials that I did to help in those scenarios when this is all really long and your bangs are super long. I have, I think, at least 2, and I will link those in the description box down below. All right, moving on to color. Okay, this is the other one. I've seen so many jokes about this on Facebook about how we're only 6 weeks away from seeing what everybody's natural hair color is. And I know a lot of you are about there. And so I want to give you a couple of things that you can do at home. The first thing that you can do is add a well, it's not even semi-permanent. It's kind of a temporary color booster. And the brand that I have personal experience with is the DP Hue. This is a sheer transparent one, which just adds a gloss to like highlights and that kind of thing. But when I was visiting my parents in January, my mom was in need of just an all over kind of root touch up. Her hair had grown out just a little bit. She is gray all over, but colors her hair, or has it colored kind of pretty dark brown. So it becomes pretty apparent. So I talked her into letting me try the dark brown version on her, and it worked fabulously. The wonderful thing about this is it has really good nourishing ingredients for your hair. You don't have to mix any color components together. So therefore, one bottle is going to last you about 4 or 5 uses. All you do is shampoo your hair, apply this a good amount through your hair. While your hair is still wet, let it sit on there, and there's all these instructions on here, but you let it sit for 3 to 20 minutes. We let hers sit for 20 minutes because we were covering gray. We washed it out and really didn't quite see, couldn't tell for sure how much it covered until we dried it. And it was great. It darkened up the roots just enough, and it boosted the rest of her color, gave her a real nice shine again. And she doesn't wash her hair every week, or every day, so it lasted her about 2 weeks. And then she has since redone it, and I don't think she has actually had her hair professionally colored yet since January. She's just been doing that. So it comes in a number of shades. So that is a way that you can kind of boost the roots of your hair, but you're not going to put any kind of crazy color on your existing color, because that's the thing you want to be careful about. You don't want to go back to your stylist and go, well, I'm not exactly sure what's on my hair, because then that can affect her future coloring treatments on your hair. Now, the second thing you can do if you want like a daily, like just touch up powder, I've not actually tried it, but I was watching some videos on it, and it's the Wow Color Powder. And this stuff is pretty crazy. On Ulta's website, they have a video of somebody doing it to touch up blonde highlights on somebody with kind of a coloration like mine. And they actually have platinum colored powder, and the stylist just literally taps it in the roots, and it looks like you've just re-highlighted your hair. So that is something you could do right before you kind of put your final finish hairspray on, is add a little bit of that powder at your kind of part right here. You could also add a little bit here if you need to. It comes in, I think 7 colors, something like that. So you can do dark brown, but it has special kind of grabbing fibers. So it is meant to actually grab a hold of your hair and your skin so that it doesn't like fluff out until you shampoo it out. So that's an option. Now, if you're saying, Sharalee, I don't want to have to go out and buy anything, or you can't get anything shipped into you, because I know we're all kind of in that crazy time right now. There's a couple of things you can do just in your makeup collection. One is if you have an eyebrow powder, pull out your eyebrow powder. This is one from Anastasia Beverly Hills, but this is specifically meant to color hair, obviously in your brows. And obviously you're not gonna take this all through your hair, but you wanna focus it on those areas that show. So if your hair is kind of back like this, or like I said, if you've styled your hair up, you can just take a little bit of powder, depending on what color you need it to be, but I would recommend kind of going with what your darker base color is. And you can use your finger and just tap it in, or I like to, I think this would work well. This is the Morphe M208, just a flat kind of dense brush, and you're gonna use it almost like a paintbrush, and you're actually going to press it into the skin and then go up through your hair like that, and you will deposit powder. The other option is to pull out an eyeshadow. Now, if you have a neutral eyeshadow palette, this is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. Look for just some more neutral brown and a little bit slightly cooler brown if your hair is brown. If you have auburn hair or whatever, look for an eyeshadow that is close to your hair color and give it a shot. Just, again, use that brush and just kind of work it into the areas that are seen. You can even do that along the part right here, just to give you a little bit of coverage through the day. All right, guys, so that wraps up this video. I hope that that was helpful for you. As always, I will leave in the description box below links to the products that I talked about. And please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.